take you to a website called stellarium.org. If you can type stellarium in the Google search, that will lead you to a link to this website, right? This is available for Windows 32-bit, Windows 64-bit, and even for your Android phones. Those of you who have hobbies of watching the sky can effectively use this software. I'm going to look at this. I'm going to just go for to try web version of this. As I said, our people in olden days could relate the stars available in the sky and could imagine that some of the few stars which formed a group appeared like some characters. For example, these group of stars which resemble mythological characters, are called as constellations. There are 88 constellations which are named. You can watch it on the screen now. The constellation which my pointer is showing is Andromeda. This one is Perseus. This is a Pegasus. Now you look at the picture just behind the constellation. Every picture has a story, and very interesting stories. Do you know how useful these constellations were? In ancient times, constellations were used to create and track the calendar, so they knew when to plant crops and harvest them. Constellations were also used for navigation, that is, to find the direction while traveling and to help sailors travel across the ocean. Zodiac system in India is dependent on these constellations. Out of 88 constellations, there are 12 constellations which are included in Indian zodiac, or we call them as Rashis. They are like Mesha, Vrishabha. Mesha is Aries, Vrishabha is Taurus, Mithuna, and so on. Well, let us discuss on few of the important constellations which are part of your syllabus. The first one is Orion. Orion was known as a talented hunter in Greek mythology. He boasted that he is the strongest and can wipe out all the animals, and that angered Earth goddess. A scorpion is sent to defeat him. So all these characters you will find as constellations. Few other constellations are Ursa Major. You can see here Ursa Major, and Ursa Major is made up of mainly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stars. They look very near to each other. They are not near to each other. They appear like that, and this is the case of all the constellations. Now people felt that it's a kind of a dipper. You know, dipper is the one which you can use it and dip it and collect some water to drink, right? Some people imagined this as a bear. You can see a picture here, picture of a bear. Okay, so that's why it is also called as a Great Bear. Right? So Great Bear, Ursa Major, and in India, our Indians named this as Sapta Rishi Mandala, where 7 sages are permanently placed in the sky. So 7 stars resembles 7 sages, and that is why Sapta Rishi Mandala. Do you know where is a pole star? Pole star is in the north. It is very near to the horizon. You can see here, this is what the horizon, and it is very near to the horizon, and it is very difficult to find out where is it, and it's not so bright also. But constellation Saptarshi Mandala will help us. If you can locate Saptarshi Mandala, or we call it as Ursa Major or Great Bear, right? Once you locate it, it is very simple to find out where the pole star is. You can see a rectangle part of this Saptarshi Mandala. You know, Saptarshi Mandala is a group of 7 stars, 7 sages, and go for this. Just look at my pointer, these 2 stars, and draw imaginary line straight, and it is almost going to meet a star here which is not so bright enough, and that is what a Polaris, that is a pole star. Generally it is not seen very clearly because in the cities we get to have more of bright lights and buildings and all, so horizon in the cities is not clear, right? And Ursa Major also nowadays in the southern part of India comes little late in the morning, somewhere at after 12, 1 o'clock or after 1 o'clock, it starts emerging up. Okay, if you can locate this, right, and you can find out a pole star, right? If you stand on the north pole of Earth, where will you able to see a Polaris, that is pole star? See you in the next video tutorial with the answer. Thank you very much. I am here to show you some features of this website. It's the internet source which is right in front of you by PBS Learning Media. So PBSLM is PBS Learning Media. Please visit this site. Credits for this video lesson goes to this particular site. I am just on my laptop with the screen recorder to show you 2 things here. The first one is how day and nights occur. So we do that simulation here, how it happens actually. Second is, why do we see always a sun as well as all other stars rises from the east and sets in the west? Right. So these are the 2 things which we are going to learn right now with this simulation. I request you to visit this site PBSLM Learning Media and go to the simulation part and play. Right. Now here there is an option that you can play automatically, or you can pause it and you yourself can drag it. Right. Now have a look here on this landscape. This is what is the landscape. This is a east direction and this is the west direction. Now when I play this, look at the rotation of the earth and then simultaneously have a observation on how the planets and the sun moves. Sun moves from east to west. Not only sun, even the moon, and that will be even applicable for the stars, because sun is also a star. So all the stars you will find rising up from the east and then getting set into west, right? And why is this happen? It happens, we see that because look at the earth, how it rotates. The earth rotates around its axis from west to east, right? So this is, I am going to pause it now, and I myself rotates from west to east, and then you will find the star is moving from east to west. Look at this star is moving from east to west, and it's a sunset. And then when I continue, you will find even the moon rises from the east. So when it completes one circle, you will find this day will increase by 1 day. Now it is 20 days, 2 hours. And if I go for one more rotation, it's a 21 day. So point to be noted here that the earth moves from west to east, and towards east it rotates. And therefore we all see that the rest of the heavenly bodies around us moving from east to west, right? And second one, how the day and nights occur. Now at this position it is a day, right? You can see here 4:13 p.m. daytime. So this man is at this p.m. now, because sun is directly on us, and now it's 4:40 p.m. and now sunset, and now it's night, 10:32 p.m. and then it is going to be early morning now, and the p.m. will become a.m. and thus how sun rises. And now he will have almost 12 o'clock. It's 12:13 in the noon, because sun is directly on the top of his head. Well, right in front of you is a picture which shows few of the constellations. You can see here Orion constellation. Please recall Orion constellation, Great Hunter constellation, right? Because our ancestors imagined and could correlate their stories to a hunter. In the same way we have Cephas. Again, a Cephas was a king. A Cassiopeia was a queen, and so many other constellations are here. But rest of the constellations you can see here down. And can you tell me why these constellations are down below the sky here? Because this picture tells you that there is a division here in between the sky and the land, and that you can call it as a horizon. Okay, we all see that portion of land meets to the horizon when you actually watch a night sky, right? And in this horizon the direction is mentioned here. It's a west, this is north, as well as this is east. And we have learned in the start of this video is that the sun rises from the east and sets in the west, so as the moon and so as all other stars. That means all these constellations are going to raise it in the east, and they take a circle here, and then all these constellations will go and set in the west. And why is that happen? Because our earth moves towards east. Okay, our earth moves towards east, and we feel that the rest of the stars and planets move towards west. Okay, now there is some exception here, right? As I said that all these constellations are getting set in the west. The Cancer will come up, Ursa Major will come up, and slowly they move towards the west. There is an exception that one particular star doesn't move at all. For Earth it appears same. And what is that star? And that is the star which you can see here, not so bright, but it is very near to the horizon in the direction of north, and that star is called Polaris. It's a pole star, or it is called Dhruva Nakshatra in our local language, right? So rest all the stars will move from east to west, where the Polaris doesn't move at all. It appears as if it is stationary. It appears rest of the stars are revolving around Polaris. And why is that? Well, let us have the explanation for that. This is our Earth, right? And imagine that there are many stars all around here. Galaxies, constellations, and so many other things are there. And let me give a direction here. On paper, how do we show the direction? North is on the top, right? And then south will be here, okay? And this side it will be a west, and this is east, right? And we all know that our Earth will be moving towards east. So this is the rotation of Earth. And when this is the rotation of Earth, we all feel that, these stars will be moving opposite to that. So this star will be appearing as if it is moving opposite to this. Okay, it's kind of a relative motion. But look at this, our Earth moves around its axis, and the star which is right on the top of the axis is what is our pole star. Now just imagine if the Earth rotates in this way towards east, then we feel that this also will get rotated, but not this star, because this is on the line of our axis of rotation. So pole star is exactly located at a position which is just above the line of the axis of rotation. It is just like, if you hold an umbrella in your hand, right? This is an umbrella and this is the stick of the umbrella, right? Suppose there are few holes here, and there is one hole which is right on the top here, and if you start moving this umbrella, you will find that from the bottom that all these holes will be moving around you, except this which is right on the top of your head, because umbrella is moved or rotated on the axis of this stick, right? That is the reason. In the next video, the sun and the celestial bodies which revolve around it form the solar system. It consists of large number of bodies such as planets, comets, asteroids, and meteors. Do you know why all these revolve around sun? It is because of the gravitational attraction between the sun and these objects. The earth, as you know, also revolves around the sun. It is a member of solar system. It is a planet. And there are several other planets that revolve around the sun. The 8 planets in their order of distance from the sun are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Till 2006, there were 9 planets in the solar system. Pluto was the farthest planet from the sun. In 2006, the International Astronomical Union adopted a new definition of the planet, and Pluto does not fit in this definition, and so it is no longer a planet. The planets sometimes look like stars, but they do not have their own light. They reflect sunlight that falls on them. What are the other differences between a planet and the stars? The stars twinkle, whereas planets do not. Planet has a definite path in which it revolves around the sun. What do you call that path? That is an orbit. And how much of time it takes to complete one orbit is called period of revolution. The period of revolution increases as the distance of the planet increases from the sun. Right now you can see on the screen that Mercury is closest. And please observe the speed of the Mercury right now. It moves faster. And why? The Mercury revolves faster around the sun because it's more attracted by the gravity of the sun, gravitation attraction of the sun. And therefore, as you go away from the sun, the speed of the planets revolving around slows down. Besides revolving around the sun, planets also rotates on its axis. The time taken by a planet to complete one rotation is called its period of rotation. Some planets have moons, or we call them as satellites revolving around them. Any celestial body revolving around another celestial body is called its satellite, or we call that it is its moon. The earth can be called as a satellite of a sun, but generally we don't call. We call earth as a planet. But a moon which revolves around the earth is a satellite for us, and that is the moon. Let us have a brief information of members of the solar system. First of all, about the sun. Sun is the nearest star from us. It is continuously emitting huge amount of light and heat. Sun is the source of almost all energy on the earth. In fact, the sun is the main source of heat and light for all the planets. Mercury. In Sanskrit it is called Budh or Buddha. The planet Mercury is nearest to the sun. It is the smallest planet of our solar system. Because Mercury is very close to the sun, it is very difficult to observe it. as most of the time it is hidden in the brightness of the sun. However, it can be observed just before sunrise or just after sunset, very near to the horizon. So it is visible only at places where trees or buildings do not obstruct the view of the horizon. Mercury has no satellite of its own. Our next planet is Venus. In Sanskrit, it is called Shukra. Venus is Earth's nearest planetary neighbor. It's the brightest planet in the sky. Sometimes Venus appears in the eastern sky before sunrise. Sometimes it appears in the western sky just after sunset. Therefore, it is called as a morning or evening star. Although it is not a star, try to locate Venus in the night sky. Venus has no moon or a satellite of its own. Rotation of Venus on its axis is somewhat unusual. It rotates from east to west, while the Earth rotates from west to east. Next planet is our own planet, our Earth. The Earth is the only planet in the solar system on which life is known to exist. Some special environment conditions are responsible for the existence and continuation of life on Earth. These include just the right distance from the sun, so that it has a right temperature and the presence of water, suitable atmosphere and blanket of ozone. From space, Earth appears blue-green due to reflection of light from water and land mass on its surface. The axis of rotation of the Earth is not perpendicular to the plane of its orbit. The tilt is responsible for the change of the seasons on the Earth. The Earth has only one moon. The next planet, the first outside the orbit of the Earth, is Mars. Mars is also known as Mangal, or in Kannada it is Mangala Graha. It appears slightly reddish and therefore it is called the red planet. Mars has two small natural satellites. Jupiter is the largest planet of the solar system. It is so large that about 1,300 Earths can be placed inside this giant planet. However, the mass of the Jupiter is about 318 times that of our Earth. It rotates very rapidly on its axis. Jupiter has a large number of satellites. It also has faint rings around it. You can easily recognize Jupiter as it appears quite bright in the sky. If you observe it with the help of telescope, you can also see the four of its large moons. Beyond Jupiter is Saturn, which appears yellowish in color. What makes it unique in solar system is its beautiful rings. These rings are not visible with the naked eye. You can observe them with a small telescope. Saturn also has a large number of satellites. One interesting thing about Saturn is that it is the least dense among all the planets. Its density is less than of water. The next are Uranus and Neptune. These are the outermost planets of the solar system. They can be seen only with the help of large telescopes. Like Venus, Uranus also rotates from east to west. The most remarkable feature of Uranus is that it has highly tilted rotational axis. As a result, it is in its orbital motion, it appears to roll on one side. The first four planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, are nearer the Sun than other four planets. They are called inner planets. The inner planets have very few moons. The planets outside the orbit of Mars, namely Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune, are much farther off than the inner planets, and they are called outer planets. There are some other bodies which revolve around the Sun. They are also members of the solar system. Let us discuss about some of them. Asteroids. There is a large gap in between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. This gap is occupied by the large number of small objects that revolve around the Sun, and these are called asteroids. Asteroids can only be seen through large telescope. Then there are comets. Comets are the members of our solar system. They revolve around the Sun in highly elliptical orbits. However, their period of revolution around the Sun is usually long. The comet appears generally a bright head with a long tail. The length of the tail goes in the size as it approaches the Sun. The tail of a comet is always directed away from the Sun. You must have heard about Halley's Comet, which appears nearly every 76 years. Well, we'll end this video session here and discuss about the remaining members of the solar system. Thank you very much.